Hello and welcome back to the Animation Essay Podcast. I'm Julia Smuts Louw, and in this episode I'm talking to Robert Valley, creator of the Oscar-nominated short film Pear Cider and Cigarettes, which deals with a very personal story of friendship and addiction. At 35 minutes, Robert pulled off this amazing Photoshop animated project almost entirely on his own with the help of Kickstarter and some highly effective networking at Annecy.
I showed him the film that was cut to the Black Sabbath song, the 5-minute teaser. And he's like, yeah, man, you want some help with this? I'm like, I don't know, what do you do? And he says, I'm in a band. I said, what's the name of your little band? I said. And he says, long pause, he goes, Metallica.
I caught up with Robert after his presentation at CTIAF and we discussed fatherhood, muggings, and how to quantify success. Apologies for the background noise on this recording.
I did it for a 4-year animation course in Vancouver, 3 years. But I took to animation really quickly because I can never finish a drawing. I can now, but at the time I could never finish a drawing. I could bring it up to about 70 or 80%, and then I would have to go on to the next drawing.
Wow.
And that doesn't really work for fine art necessarily, but it worked really good for animation. It turned out that I was no good at finishing one piece of art, but I was really good at not finishing a whole bunch of drawings. And so I just took to animation really, really quickly because I could unfinish a bunch of drawings and put them all together. And once you put a sequence of drawings together, it sort of elevates the individual drawings to a different level.
Yeah.
And now they're working towards a different goal. So I'm not so much thinking about, the fussing around with one particular drawing. So you're kind of getting a bit of a bigger picture on things. So, I mean, that kind of idea that was fascinating me when that was happening. And as a workaholic, I mean, I worked like crazy through my 20s, did advertising for the first part of my career. And it felt like all the work I was doing was kind of either shorts, like the Eon Flux stuff, or the Gorillaz music videos, which is more sort of like in that 3 to 6 minute time slot. So it's manageable.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about that was, like, for example, with Eon Flux, Peter Chung, he was really able to almost put his hand on almost every drawing. And so you could really see if he was willing to step up, which he did, you could really see his drawings, the impact of one person on the whole project. And it's the same with the Gorillaz stuff. I mean, the early Gorillaz stuff was done by Pete Candelan, and he really, I mean, he had a crew of people, but the impact of Pete on those Gorillaz music videos was huge. That kind of, I'm less interested in feature films or TV series where you go from a crew of about a dozen to a crew of 100 or more. That becomes a bit unwieldy, and you have less ability to sort of impact the project in any sort of capacity. It becomes more of a team effort, which is cool. But I mean, I would rather just keep it a little smaller. I just like that a bit more.
Yeah, there seems to be an interesting kind of balance in a lot of really strong artists and animators, particularly between. It's such a collaborative medium, but if you have a strong vision, you also kind of want to do everything yourself.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, in a selfish way, that's kind of what I wanted. I just wanted to work on smaller things and just to have it all out there. So that's the Pear Cider thing. I mean, the Pear Cider was 30-minute film. Yeah. The shelf life is pretty much over on it, I think, after about a year, which is basically now. I mean, isn't the Oscars happening this weekend?
It is, and one of our studios has a short in the running as well, so we're about to start.
What's it called?
Revolting Rhymes.
Right.
So that was animated at Triggerfish.
Oh,
which
right.
You might have, I don't know if they've done a studio tour for you. But
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I had to vote on that.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm on the Academy.
Yeah, I guess you would be.
I saw all that. They kept sending me DVDs of all the... I mean, I got a stack of DVDs like this big.
Oh, wow.
For all the films. I've been slowly going through all this stuff.
So do you make an effort to watch everything?
I do. I mean, it's not so much making an effort, like the due diligence, other than It's more like I'm just sitting there because I work in the morning and I just put a movie on and just let it play. So
you work and watch at the same time?
Yeah. I always got something going on in the background. Listen to documentaries and podcasts and stuff like that. I'm kind of ashamed to say it, not ashamed or embarrassed, but I listen to a lot of UFC fight kind of podcasts.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
I like Robbie Lawler. He's I mean, I like these guys that fight in the pocket, or girls, but I mean, I kind of use it as an analogy for what I'm doing.
Oh really?
A little bit. I mean, animation is such it's hard to sort of find it like an analogy, but I'm trying to figure out a way of fighting in the pocket with animation, or being in the barrel, like it. Of operating at a high level when you're kind of right at that point where it's happening. It's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I mean, it's not as dramatic as surfing or fighting, but I'm trying to be more like that.
So do you mean like staying present in the moment?
I mean, when I'm working on a scene, for example, I kind of want to be. I just feel like there's moments when I'm animating where it's all kind of happening at once. It feels a bit like a performance because of the methodology that I'm doing in Photoshop. So it gets done while I'm working on it. So the alternate animation process that I'm used to is you animate the contour or the line artwork, and that gets in between, and then that gets scanned and colored, and then meanwhile the shadows or highlights are being done, and that gets all composited and then put together, and that's the finished look. But what I was trying to do, at least on the Pear Cider film, was finish as I'm working on it. And by that I mean, because I did all the layouts in the graphic novel part of the process, so I had finished artwork that I was working with. So instead of undressing all the layers down to the line art and then putting it back together again, I was basically just animating finished artwork to give it like that kind of rendered or the more comic book kind of look.
Yeah.
And so in other words, when it's done, it's done. And so as you're kind of working in the process, it feels a bit like stop motion because you're kind of building on the last frame and it goes off in a certain direction. And it's kind of like a one pass kind of thing. I mean, you could go through and you could tweak it a bit, but once it starts forming in a certain direction, then you kind of got to go with it. And that's kind of what I mean about like functioning in the pocket.
Right. Yeah. And I guess like considering that for a short, I mean, you've done quite an opus there as essentially a one-man team. I guess you have to be disciplined about, not endlessly second guessing yourself or.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want it to go on longer than the 5 years that it did. Well, the animation schedule was about 2.5 years.
That's
crazy
how much you did in that time.
Yeah. When everything was said and done with the Kickstarter, because I include the Kickstarter as part of and the post-production.
You did 2 Kickstarters, is that right?
I did one for the printing of the second book.
Right, yeah.
And then I also did one for the finishing.
Yeah.
The paying for the music licensing and the post-production. So, I went back to the well. There's a lot of things that didn't work financially for me in terms of getting money from the National Film Board, Canada Council, Netflix. I tried every available option, and at the end of the day, no money was really making itself available to me. But what was working was Kickstarter. And I could never really convince one person to give me a big chunk of money, but it seemed like I could convince 1,000 people to give me a little bit of money. And there's really something about the enthusiasm of people in the middle of a campaign. They get on board, they're feeling like they're feeling the excitement of the possibility that, together we're kind of able to make an impact and bring it together And I also think that a lot of people were very encouraging, because I was doing something that they would like to do themselves. And by helping me succeed, the door's open, basically. And it's basically, look, he did it, I can do it.
I guess the scary thing is putting yourself out there and going, I'm going to do this, and then you've kind of obligated yourself to pull it off.
No, well, by the time I did the Kickstarter,
you did it at the end, which was pretty smart.
Yeah, because I didn't want to put myself in a position where I've seen projects get the money up front, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I always thought, Jesus, that's the last thing I want, is to not pull it off. So I wanted to make sure I was towards the end of the process, and also that by the time the Kickstarter was financed, or it was awarded, that people wouldn't have to wait years in order to see the finished product.
Yeah, you'll meet a gentleman wandering around here with a 1,000-yard stare, who's finished his last frame of a Kickstarter graphic novel yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was called Kariba. So they had also a Kickstarter campaign, but at the beginning of the process.
Right.
And so they've been through that scary road of pushing out the deadline,
Having
pushing out the deadline. And,
yeah, no, it sucks, and you got to update people. You're definitely held accountable. I mean, I was having some problems with Canada Post with some of the packages I was sending out. It wasn't making its destination.
Oh, no.
And it was
Did you do that yourself as well?
Yeah, I did all the fulfillment.
And the decision you mentioned during your talk of turning the book into 2 volumes, was that just a practical thing, or was that like more heartbreaking than you made it sound?
I think it was a practical decision. I think I kind of wanted to have it out there, generating, like, just circulating around, with the hope that it was going to generate some interest. And then there might be some anticipation for the second novel to come out while I was working on it. So it was kind of out there, doing a bit of work while I was continuing along with it. I mean, I've often thought that over the course of the 5 years, I think I made about 10,000 right decisions. And I made about 4 wrong ones.
Wow.
But the wrong ones really came back to bite me on the ass.
Was one of the kind of missteps you mentioned that I thought was interesting was how you'd hoped getting like the front credit on Tron Uprising would
that was huge for me.
Yeah,
because when it came out, I had a back credit on it.
Oh, so it didn't work out.
No, I talked to Charlie, and I just I got really drunk on red wine one night, and I sent him an angry email. I was like, "You and Alberto got a front credit. I'm in the back. I thought we were a team. I thought we were the 3 Musketeers." And he's like, "Oh, Jesus, okay, I'll see what I can do." And so he approached Disney, and Disney said, "We never give character designers a front credit." And so somehow Charlie managed to break through, and I got a front credit. I mean, I wanted that because I had an ulterior motive.
Yeah, you had this whole plan.
Yeah, it was all planned out. Yeah, I mean, I've never been more strategic in terms of planning a project out before in my life.
I was going to ask, is this a trait that you've always had? Because it does sound like you're very much like a big picture and detail thinker.
I mean, I was trying to be, because I really wanted to succeed this time. And I wanted to succeed so it wouldn't be such a sales job with my wife. Because, I mean, I've fully bought into this idea that if you do your own work and you do the best job you possibly can, then success is inevitable. I'm totally bought into that idea. As long as you finish your projects, you have to finish it, and you have to do the best you can possibly do. And that's basically as complicated as that thinking process is.
Success or satisfaction?
Success.
Wow. Well, maybe if you're a creative genius.
But I mean, how do you measure success?
I guess that's the important question. Yeah.
For me, it's simple. Success is getting paid to do what you like to do.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you're a dancer or a writer or a musician, anything. I mean, everybody wants the same thing. You want to get paid to do your own shit. and you don't want to be working on other people's shit all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe you do want to do that.
I think that's a key thing, working on your own project or your own IP rather than somebody else, making somebody else's dream come true.
That's fun too sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, I got to the point where I was approaching my late 40s, and I felt a little dissatisfied. And I felt like I needed to do things to... I mean, everything was trying to raise my station in life, basically. So that was kind of the goal behind everything. And by that I mean, okay, if I finish a film and I have a bit of luck, ideally people can look at it and they can determine, okay, he finished the project, he finished at a certain level, so he's accountable for his thing. So it should make people feel. In terms of investors, like, oh, should we put money behind this guy? Let's see what his track record is. Is he able to pull it off? You know, blah, 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 blah. And I think all that sort of, ideally, hopefully, was trying to raise, you know, my station in life. And at the end of the day, getting more money would be nice too. In my world, with the people that I actually have contact with, in a way, Jamie Hewlett's probably the most successful person.
He was a big inspiration for you.
Well, he is. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his work, but I'm also like, I've been sort of quietly sort of analyzing Jamie's success from the sidelines and thinking, he's kind of the person that I would like to be. I don't want to be Jamie, but I would like to be a Rob version of Jamie. Would be nice. I mean, he comes up with ideas, he gets them done, everybody loves him. He's got posters up in Japan. He just, everywhere the guy goes. I mean, he's just his stuff is just out there. It's just kind of out there, permeating popular culture.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting because it resonates to me with that the kind of near the beginning of your film where you'd met Techno, and you saw something that he could do about throwing the ball across the field, and
he could huck it right across the field. And I still can't do that. And I'm a grown man now.
But I like the fact that you tried and that you kind of emulated that every day, going and throwing that ball and going like, I like that. I'd like to be able to do that. And then the end of that kind of beat is, but then I found out I could draw and he couldn't. And then we became friends.
Yeah, no. He was the kind of guy that he wanted to be the best at everything. But I was.
Did you have that in common, perhaps?
No, I'm not like that.
Yeah?
But I was better at him at one thing. He was always trying to. I mean, yeah, he was one of those people that would sit around and we'd just draw pictures together. What we were really into was drawing the Bad Outta Hell album cover for Meatloaf.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that over and over again.
You mentioned that it was a friend who kind of heard the story of yours about techno.
Yeah, Hugo.
And said you got to do something with this, and that's what originally started you on that journey.
Yeah.
But what kind of kept you on that journey? Because there must have been times when it seemed like it was going to be impossible to pull it off. So, you know, was it something about this? Was it something you wanted to say about techno or about addiction, or was it just like this is the story that I really want to tell? What kept you going?
Well, I mentioned at the beginning of that presentation that I was reluctant to get started.
Yeah. Because
I know there's something I know about myself is that once I get hooked into a project, I can't pull out of it, and it's
that's a really good quality.
Well, it's good and it's bad. I mean, it becomes all-consuming, and I felt like it didn't take long. I used to think like this project it felt like a really long walk, and I used to think it was sort of similar to walking from Vancouver to the tip of Florida. It probably took about the same amount of time, like 3 years.
Is that something you've done?
No, but I was just imagining how long it would take to walk from one end of the continent to the other. And maybe you could do it in a year, I don't know. But once I crossed the bridge in Vancouver in my mind, that's the point of no return. All I had to do was cross that bridge. I mean, it's a metaphorical thing, right? So I'm not sure where that bridge was, but there was definitely a point where I couldn't pull out of it anymore at the beginning. And I think it was really quite early on. The thing was, when I was working on it, and this was what kept me going, was I would wake up in the morning and I would do a scene, and at the end of the night, I'd have something in the edit. So you could see it building on a daily basis. Sometimes it wasn't perfect. It was a bit like golf. That's what I thought. What I wanted to do is I wanted to tee off on every scene and see how far I could get the scene down the fairway. Sometimes I'd actually get it on the green or in the pocket. Occasionally I'd pocket a scene, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But regardless of what happened, at the end of the day, the scene needed to be rendered and put in the edit, and I'd start the next scene the next day. And so it was a scene a day. And so there was 300 scenes in the whole film, 300 plus. So it took about a year to go through the first pass to tee off on every scene. And then after a year, I was able to go back to the first scene and do the second pass, which to me felt like some of those shots, were, using the golf analogy again, were kind of getting close to the green. So it wasn't so much about distance. It was about trying to get it more in the pocket, or more on the green, closer to the cup. So those required a little less time because I'd already done all the setup and everything in the first pass. The second one just required a little bit of finessing here and there. Then I went back and did the third pass. The third pass was, instead of months, this time it was only took weeks to do the third pass. And then I kind of earmarked about half a dozen scenes that I wanted to give special attention to. Because instead of spending a day, well, by this time it would have been a couple of days on every scene, I wanted to spend a week on a scene and see what that looked like. So I earmarked about half a dozen scenes for that. So I had a very planned sort of approach to the whole thing that was sort of economical with the amount of time that I was spending on it.
And did you stick to your schedule?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I had an iPad where I would list the amount of footage that I was doing on a daily basis. And all these were just psychological things I was doing to make myself feel like I was moving forward.
Yeah, I like the number and the wealth of analogies you use to kind of...
Yeah. Well, these are the things that was going on in my head.
Yeah, to kind of keep you sane, I guess.
It was keeping me sane. Yeah. Because it would get demoralizing.
Yeah.
Sometimes thinking about how much work was left to do. And instead of focusing on what wasn't being done, I was putting more of the focus on what was being done. And then it was just a matter of just waking up and doing it every day. So, it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world. But man, I loved working on that film.
Okay.
It was so fun.
Was it cathartic as well? Because I guess, it's a true story about your friend. I don't know how much of it is exactly the same as what happened. Kind of draw a line under it for you to turn it into art.
Definitely. On a personal level, I had some missteps there in the real story where I might have been partly responsible for Techno's demise in a way. And I kind of carried that guilt with me a little bit. It was hard for me to admit that or to come to grips with it. And it was certainly hard for me to... it took me right till the very end of the film to actually get up the courage to say what happened. And showing it to Techno's parents, that was kind of hard too.
Well, I got to say, the very first thing I thought when I saw it was like, wow, what a good friend. That was my first takeout to go and venture into that, belly of the lion, sit with your friends through such tough stuff.
And, by that time, Techno and I, we weren't really that good friends. A lot of people had written him off as being a drunk and trouble. He was a mess. There's something about the film that I can't quite get my head around. Is that there's something about your friends you have when you're a kid, that you have this weird special connection with.
Yeah.
And Techno, for me, was one of those people. And I can count those people on one hand. And those are the people that, for better or worse, are the people that are part of that inner circle. It doesn't mean we're friends or we get along or anything like that. We just happen to grow up together.
Yeah.
And that's why at the end of the film, when the guy at the airport, the Chinese fellow, took my money, he turned out to be a really nice guy. Even though I had to pay him $700, we had a good laugh, and I was like, God, I almost like this guy more than techno. You know?
But the one has he's almost...
I mean, I was kind of wrestling with that idea
figure,
in the film. Like this weird kind of commitment you have to your old friends. For what?
Yeah.
The only reason you're friends is because of you have a shared history together. It doesn't mean you have anything in common. There's so many times I was sitting there with techno, I was just like, why the fuck am I here? This is crazy. But at the same time, we got to know each other again. You know? And I think that's the structure of the story as well. And I purposely made it so that in the first half of the film, you never really see techno. He's sort of like this weird mythical sort of character.
That's right, yeah.
But
you never really see you either, do you?
No.
Yeah.
But in the second half of the film, techno's in every scene. His face. And you get to know him. And that's how it felt when I was there. Like, I got to know him again.
And he had descended from this mythical status of the kid who could do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So kind of had to get reacquainted. And because I think, So, the film very much followed the real path that I was on. The music I was listening to at the time. Everything. So it's just kind of a reflection of things that were actually happening.
Was that at all a factor in deciding what project to tackle as a short? Because the story kind of lends itself, I guess, towards a one-man job, just in that quite a lot of it is repetitive. So I guess you reused a lot of assets, and you kind of in this funnel in the one section of it when you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
Where it's this kind of Sisyphusian experience of throwing the cat out every day.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of played into what you needed to do. And also even the animation style. I love how subtle it is. There's like little things where it'll be just an eyeball moving or just like something very small. That's the whole performance.
That's cool that you picked up on that, because I think that the music was very much guiding me along with that stuff. And I think I was kind of using music as a kind of as an example of how to structure the animation. The way a song will just it'll have an introduction, it'll build, it'll repeat itself, and it'll go back, and it'll crescendo, but there's a lot of patterns in there that I think are kind of interesting. So I was trying to find a similar sort of way of structuring the scenes and the reuse in a way that it was sort of following a similar pattern. But it wasn't just a pattern, but a pattern that builds somewhere.
And you got your kind of dream scratch track. All the music ended up there exactly as you were listening to it while you were...
I got a letter from Roger Waters.
Wow.
Because everybody had to look at the film to sign off on it. It said it was really short. I mean, it wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to somebody that Cara, the producer, knew, that got forwarded to Cara and then got sent to me. So... it just says, love it, use the song, love Roger, is all it said. But in a way, he looked at it. And also David Gilmour looked at it.
Wow.
And David Gilmour, I'm a huge David Gilmour fan. The fact that it felt like, I've been consuming all that music, all that content from Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, and it felt like it was just a one-way thing. They make it, I listen to it. But for this one little moment, it felt like I created something, and it's feeding back to them.
Yeah. And
they're looking at it, and they're acknowledging it, and then it's kind of, that was blowing my mind. It was incredible. Like I said, I would like just listen to Pink Floyd, and I just sort of imagine. I just thought these people just were just kind of unapproachable.
Yeah. Not even real.
Not even real.
Yeah.
It's like Jim Morrison or David Gilmour, Roger Waters. To me, that's just like, it doesn't even seem like real in a way. So to have them actually look at the film and to give permission, that Pink Floyd song that we got, which was a pretty deep cut off of, is it Adam Hart Mother? I think it's Adam Hart Mother. But anyways, it's a pretty deep cut. And I wanted a deep cut Pink Floyd song, because everybody knows the Pink Floyd songs that you hear all the time.
Yeah.
But if you go a little deeper into the catalog, you can find some gold.
They'll also appreciate that and go like, "Wow, you like that song? Nobody knows that song, I guess."
Oh man, but
yeah,
to me,
be like...
it just has that epic sort of David Gilmour sort of sonic sound, and it just worked so perfectly. And I think, and apparently the lady at the record company, but she says that they never licensed music out. This is the first time since she'd been there that they saw like a Pink Floyd song get licensed.
Yeah, and then you also had quite a lot of, you're friends with Robert Trujillo from Metallica, is that right?
Yeah, I wish I had a chance to talk about that because that's a funny story. Early on in the animation process, I had finished about 5 minutes of animation, and I kind of thought at the time that once I had started to animate, I had the books were printed, and I animated 5 minutes. It was towards the beginning, the sequence that I animated, kind of the exciting stuff like techno running. And,
that stuff is beautiful.
And it was the Black Sabbath sequence. So that was kind of like my favorite part in there. So I kind of went right into that, and there's explosions, and there's just all that sexy stuff, all that stuff that kind of felt like when we were teenagers, to a Black Sabbath song. And then I went to Annecy just to sort of see if I could get some interest in this project, because now I had the finished thing in the book form, and I had a 5-minute sample that was kind of done. So I thought, in my mind, it's inevitable that I'll find someone to throw some money at this project.
As you said, hard work and doing your best for success. And
so I was sitting in Annecy in I guess it's the MIPCOM part of Annecy.
MIFA.
MIFA, yeah. And I was getting no interest whatsoever, and it just seemed pretty like demoralizing a little bit.
Did you have your own stand?
I was with some friends.
Okay.
And so one day I was going to the MIFA in the morning, and I saw Antonio from Titmouse there having a coffee, and I said, "Oh, hey Antonio, how's it going?" And he's talking to this dude with long hair. And I just walked in, and he goes, "Oh, hey Rob, how's it going? Rob, this is Rob." And Rob says, "Hey Rob, how's it going?" And I said, "Hey Rob." And then Antonio walked away. He goes, "Oh, I got a meeting. Okay, you guys talk. I'll see you guys later."
I'd forgotten that part. What the heck was he doing at Annecy?
Well, he's a huge animation fan. Oh, and his wife is French.
Okay, all right.
And there's a bit more to the story, because he did this thing called it's called Metallica Parking Lot. It's this sort of crazy ass animation thing that he did with Titmouse, and I animated a couple of scenes in it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So we had a connection. So when I met Antonio, I said, "Okay, so Robert, I got to go to my table. Do you want to see what I'm doing over here?" And he goes, "Sure." So he walked over, and I showed him my book. He's like, "All right, cool, man." And then I showed him the film that was cut to the Black Sabbath song, the 5-minute teaser. And he went, "Oh," and he's totally into it, obviously. He went on tour with Ozzy Osbourne, and it was hitting home for him. And he's like, "Yeah, man, you want some help with this?" I'm like, "I don't know, what do you do?" And he says, "I'm in a band." I said, "What's the name of your little band?" I said. And he says, long pause, he goes, "Metallica." I'm like, "What? You're in Metallica?" Because I thought Jason Newsted was the last bass player, that I knew in Metallica. I must have taken my finger off the Metallica pulse there for a while.
Yeah, no, I remember when he came in there. He's quite a lot younger, isn't he? He's like, he kind of looked pretty starstruck himself in the first couple of...
Yeah, so he went in, he rehearsed, because he was from the Suicidal Tendencies before that. And he knew all the songs, and apparently he just nailed the audition. So they signed him. Anyway, so...
What a break, wow.
So I met Robert, and I mean, we walked away, and it was all cool, but I was so used to meeting people and nothing sort of coming about from it, because that's the way things were going. And then when I met Robert, I just sort of went, I'll probably never hear from him again. And then he emailed me later on that day. He's like, "Dude, yeah, man, it's cool. I want to work on it." And then he was the only person that actually followed through with what he was saying. And I kind of held that in such high regard that I just really took his commitment level quite seriously. So he wanted to introduce some music from his other band called Mass Mental. And, he's trying to find a place for some of that music. So, but he was actually very, very helpful in terms of getting the Black Sabbath licensing done and the Rage Against the Machine stuff. I mean, we were having no luck with some songs with our music guy, Gary Welsh. And so at one point I just said to Robert, we can't seem to get Black Sabbath on board. We can't even get anybody on the phone. He goes, "Do you want me to phone Sharon?" I went, "Okay." He says, "Yeah, don't worry about it, man. I went on tour with those guys. I'm totally tight with them." 10 minutes later, we got the music licensing for that Black Sabbath song.
Yeah.
And then the thing with the Rage Against the Machine was it was the same thing. We couldn't get anybody to connect with us. And then I mentioned that to Robert. He goes, "Oh, do you need some help with that? Like, Be Real's renting my apartment in Venice Beach." Or something like that. I was like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I'll just drop him a note." And then next thing you know, we got the Rage Against the Machine thing. I mean, he's operating in those kind of circles, right?
Yeah, once you've got that guy on board, I would think even outside of music, just having somebody like that attached gives the project a whole new momentum.
Yeah, it was. It was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good to work with, and then after that thing was done, he asked me if I wanted to do a music video for Metallica.
Yeah.
So we did that.
I remember you played that at Annecy as well.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did you get royalties?
No.
That's a whole other discussion.
No, I was happy to work on that.
Sounds like just licensing and clearance in general has been a bit of a dream, because with Cara Speller, is it Speller or Spelling? Speller, your producer. You also got the rights to use Seinfeld and
Friends.
My Name is Earl and Friends.
Yeah.
And they didn't charge you a cent. Is that right?
Yeah, got it for. We got them to agree to give us their visual clearances for no money.
Is that also just relationships, or do they really like the project? Or?
We had to call in some favors. She had to call in some favors. I think she had to call in some big favors, and it was like with the music licensing as well. Once you got a couple of people on board, then it was easier to get more people on board.
Yeah.
It was just hard to get the first people on. It kind of went like that.
It's like a snowball.
It was a snowball, yeah, for sure. And not only that, but passion brings a lot of weight to the table. You walk into reception; they've got Academy Awards on display, in reception. I've always sort of held that relationship in very high regard. So the fact that that they were interested in helping me finish the film, not financing it directly, but sort of committed to the trying to figure out ways of completing it. To me, it was a great. That was the same trip where I met Robert Trujillo, and then I had that connection with Passion. Right. They expressed the interest. I was able to go home and report to my wife that there's actually some potentially really exciting news down the pipeline. I mean, because she was completely not excited about this project.
Yeah, you said you had to kind of pitch her hard to get the couple of years of concentrating on this film. Yeah,
because I can't just do whatever I want.
Yeah, of course.
I'm responsible to other people, because that affects our life. So, I had to frame it in the context that there would be something tangible at the end of it, that would make it all worthwhile. And what I was saying is, I want to get an Academy Award nomination.
Wow.
And I was even
you really are goal-orientated.
I was. I even said, I don't want to win, I just want a nomination. And so that's what we went for. Yeah.
That's incredible. So, it gives credit to that old saying that if you can define what you want clearly enough, it's that much more likely to happen.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. This doesn't happen that often.
No, indeed.
But occasionally, and maybe only once, I had a very specific vision of the future.
Oh, really?
Once the story was written, then I foresaw a very probable future for it.
Wow.
To me, I just sort of thought, oh, this is different, and it's interesting, it's compelling, it's a true story. You know, it sort of touches on addiction. I want to make it a bit rock and roll. It's adult oriented. I want to have it music driven. I'm towards the end of the twilight of my career, so you know, I'm not just showing up without a track record. You know, I'm sort of bringing a little bit of my Gorillaz experience into it, and building on, you know, my career. And I just saw I sort of saw things in a certain way. Yeah, like I said, that doesn't happen that often.
That's really inspiring.
I sort of feel in my development in my career, I'm sort of at the bottom of the 7th inning of a baseball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
Because I'm 50, almost 50 right now.
Really?
So, I mean, how many years do I have left? Maybe 10.
What?
Of productive
Oh, thank
years.
goodness. I thought you were like...
No, just productive work.
On Earth. Not on Earth, no.
No. But I mean, I really wanted to make those last times at bat really count.
Well, I mean, Disney animators have gone on into their 90s, so maybe give yourself a couple more decades.
Really? But I think it's an industry that sort of values young people.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I hope that's not true.
Where are the old animators?
Well, you wouldn't, I don't know, you wouldn't see them because it's less obvious, but I was in advertising, and one reason I left is because I realized my experience counts against me after this age of, even younger in advertising, after sort of 35, people are like, does she still get it, you know?
Interesting.
So,
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I think it has to do with younger people that are have less financial needs, are able to work for lower rates.
Yeah, of course. There's always that side as well.
Yeah.
How much can you pay them?
So I mean, then it's the thing I just said. What happens to old animators? Where do they go? They either
don't they just keep working?
They might do, but I mean,
if they can keep up with software, then they're good to go.
That's true. Yeah, maybe.
Just since we were talking about your wife, I wanted to ask, because I was really interested in that story about how you wrote the first draft of Pear Cider and Cigarettes while she was...
The first and last draft.
Yeah, exactly. Not only while she was in the hospital, but actually in labor.
Yeah.
And then later in your film, I was reminded that you said your second book that you were working on was going really well.
Yeah.
Sitting next to your friend's hospital bed.
Yeah.
That's sort of a parallel. Do you think that there's something about intense experiences that feeds you as an artist? You wouldn't be the first.
Yeah, totally. I think...
that's when you do your best work.
I think so, yeah, for me, for sure. I think there was a very vivid sort of recollection I have of that whole thing. But also, it sort of had a structure to the whole story as well, which I kind of... didn't realize till later that there was an ending to the story. His father kind of summed up at the very ending, and that just tied the whole thing together so nicely.
It's that weird kind of dichotomy if you're a writer, isn't it? Because even when something terrible is happening, there's this little part of your mind that's going, well, this is new.
Yeah,
I can use this at some point.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping when you told me that you'd been mugged yesterday in Cape Town. I was like, well, hopefully it'll end up in a story and it will earn its keep as an experience.
Well, it's the beginning of a story, but it didn't go anywhere. It just...
You can fictionalize, though.
It's not even enough for a page of comic book.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask what you're up to next.
I've got something brewing. It's a little 8-minute animated thing for Netflix.
Oh, wow.
It's part of a larger project. I can't really talk about the details, but... It's just a perfect job, actually, for me, because it's that short time block that I was talking about. I got a nice small crew. I've gathered together the people I like to work with, and we've got a nice long schedule. So that's just, and it's another sort of passion co-production.
Cool. So that's something to look forward to. Did you find the Oscar nomination changed life for you in any significant way when it came to people knocking on your door?
I mean, a lot of people kind of phoned me up and asked if I wanted to come by to the studio. Just I call it the couch and water tour.
I've heard Lena Dunham use that same term.
Like nothing came about. I kind of don't think. I think if I have to do another film, it might be a similar thing. I don't think I'm any better off than I was before.
Similar in terms of how you'd have to do the hard yards.
Yeah.
But that
I'd have to save up money again. Probably have to do another Kickstarter.
really, wow.
Yeah, I don't think maybe I could get somebody on board. I think one thing I've done is I've met a lot more people in the last year doing the festival circuit, and I do have a bit of like a track record now, so that might help a little bit. But it's not as easy as I thought it would be. So
Would it be a short again, or like a long short?
I want to do a series of shorts that are different in length, different in nature. They're sort of funnier, because I actually really like doing funny stuff. I mean, what I really like is stuff which is a little bit. I like a little bit of pubic hair. I like a little bit of joint smoking.
Yeah.
I don't like guns.
Are you still uncomfortable in the back of a squad car?
Oh, fuck
My
that.
last question.
Completely. That's my least favorite place in the world.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's a good question.
so life hasn't changed you too fundamentally.
No, I'm still the same kid I was before. I'm still drawing pictures. I'm absolutely the same as I was when I was a kid. You know, except I drink more beer now. It's the only difference.
I drink less beer now.
You drink less.
Well, I'm pregnant.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I was going to still ask you about fatherhood as well, but that's probably also another whole can of worms.
Try it. Let's see where it goes.
Just in terms of like, I guess anybody who goes into an artistic profession is taking a risk. And you'd mentioned how you needed to kind of get your wife's buy-in.
And Jackson.
Well, how old was he then?
How old was he then?
Yeah.
Well, he was 3. But he still had.
But you asked him.
He still had an opinion.
Did you ever doubt yourself that it was the best use of your time? Like, was that buy-in important not just for permission, but for the endorsement?
I'm completely, like I said, I've bought into the idea that if you finish a project and you do your best work, then success will be inevitable. If it doesn't happen this time, it will happen next time. I mean, it's almost blind, dumb sort of. It might never happen, but I'm still convinced it's the right thing to do. Yeah.
So he's going to be raised with the same value.
Well, no, he's his own person. But he seems to be into it. He just started watching that Tron Uprising TV series. He came across it himself.
Oh, wow.
And I said, oh, dude, I worked on that. And he went, really?
Does it register? Is it like...
Oh, no, because my credit comes up at the beginning.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. You made sure of that.
Yeah, I know. And I said, look, there's my credit right there. And just then his little arm came up, and he sort of gave me a little hug like this.
You're okay, Dad.
And
I can be associated with you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first time that I've ever felt like he's kind of like endorsed me. You know, oh, you're all right.
Get the Jackson seal of approval.
It was kind of
until I'm 13.
It was sweet and creepy at the same time. Little creepy arm coming up. I was like, what are you doing? It's weird.
Catch Robert's latest character design work on Hollow, a kids series now available on Netflix. I'm Julia Smuts Louw. Thanks for listening and catch you next time.